So, my name is Dr. Jeannie Arunima. You can call me Jeannie. And I'm the founder of Golden Life Healing. And that is my online practice where I help clients around the world, beautiful beings just like you all, to get in touch with our highest good, our good health, and our well being. So it's been such a joy to do that through the pleasure of Zoom. I have made friends with people around the world. I'm so happy that you're all here today. I practice an ancient form of Japanese healing therapy. My doctor title came from being a doctor of Oriental medicine. I practiced 21 years before I went into education. And now I'm back with the healing practice. And the other thing that I love, and I'm going to share with you today, is guided meditation, healing guided meditation journeys to get in touch with our heart, our greatest well-being inside. So before we start, I heard a few places where you were from, but would you all say where you are in this world? I can't believe we get to be together all across the world. So in the chat box, if you would, just say where you're from. Albany. St. Louis. Oh, I love the Philippines. I had family in St. Louis. Switzerland, Zimbabwe. Oh, I'm so excited. Sandra, that's our furthest distance right now, huh? It's amazing that we can connect across the world. And Switzerland, Spokane, Johannesburg. Wow. I think maybe Ruru wins the farthest distance. I'll have to get the globe. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So today I came here because, Sandra invited me and I was so honored. Because, if you can't tell, she is my hero. I'll tell you more about that later. But she's asked me to come, and I asked her, what should I give your membership? What of the things that I can offer should I do? And she's like, whatever your heart tells you. So I thought about that for a while. I've been thinking about you all because the Worthy membership is close to my heart. I mean, this is something that I've watched be born, and it's my life work is the Worthy and self-love. So I thought, what better thing could I share than my story? A little bit about my journey to becoming worthy and my journey to self-love. So everybody's talking about self-love, 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 self-love. And there's books and it's the buzzword. And actually, for 40 years plus, I've known about self-love. I've heard this word. And so I did my good things, I practiced my spiritual practices. I cared for others. I loved and loved. I was a mom. I loved friends. I taught. I cared for patients. I was a big lover. But secretly inside, there was something that was not quite right. As my friend Sandra told me, she said, why are you playing small? I had shut down and not felt that self-love in myself. And I couldn't understand why. And I tried. Boy, did I try. So in our time together today, I'm going to give you a little bit of my journey. Not really because I just want to tell you about myself. I'd like it to spark your reflection of your own journey. Where are you with self-love? Where did you come from? How's it going now? And what do you want for your future? And you may be swimming in it. I love that. So I just ask you to enjoy our time together. So I'll be chatting at you a bit. I'm going to bring you a little practice to share with you. And then I'm going to take us on a guided healing journey within. So I really want you to be comfortable. You need a blanket or anything like that, feel free. And that'll happen after the story, and we'll have a little stretch. Then I can stick around because I'll be happy to answer questions. And I have a surprise. I have a gift for everybody here and for the whole membership, Sandra. And I'll tell you about that at the end. Okay, so is everybody ready to go? Are you comfy? Can I see your thumbs up? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Well, I want to start with this quote. I have a few notes. I'll disclose my few notes. I don't want to forget anything. This quote I love. You will never love yourself until you allow yourself to receive your own love. Receive your own love. Wow. That's not as easy as it sounds. And I wrote my notes and I started with this and I was like, wait, I have to say where that quote came from. And I started looking and looking. Guess what? Yeah, I wrote it. So I'm a little bit of a goofball. I hope you don't mind. There's a lot of laughter in my life. It just bubbles up. So I do believe this, self-love. And self-love is probably, in my practice, that might be the single most important self-healing work. And I say, as we heal ourselves, we heal our world. So I'm going to say, as we love ourselves more and more, we love our world. So here's a little about my story. And, I was born in the States, and we were a middle-class family. I grew up not wanting for anything. We were not rich, but we were working class, and my father was very, what's the word? He's kind of like an entrepreneur. He was always doing one thing or another, a professor, a realtor, but he made sure that we had what we needed: warmth, medicine, food, clean water. Like, I had it all. And from a young age, I knew that I was so fortunate. And I knew from our studies, I knew about what was happening in other countries around the world. I knew I had sisters living in mud huts, walking for water. That story just about killed me that I heard from Sandra about her life growing up, because I thought of people. And I live in New Mexico, the land of enchantment. We're very close to the country of Mexico, and it's quite economically depressed in a lot of parts of the world. So I was highly aware about this. But, that made me feel so terrible that I had this and my brothers and sisters did not. So as a young girl, I did not love myself. I felt unworthy for the goodness in my life. That was the first hit. Somehow my self-love was tied to my self-worth, and I tried and tried and tried and tried. And that took me all my life of searching outward to try and feel good inside, to love myself. As I said earlier, I started on a path of education. Like, I poured myself into degrees, and then I switched degrees and I poured myself into medical school in Santa Fe. And then I was married and I poured myself into caregiving and child rearing. And you guys know this story. I know by your faces and the fact that you are in this group that you are deep hearts and big caring people. It's just like you wouldn't be here if you weren't. And so you know how that can feel. But guess what? That was all an outward give. And I could give so much love, and people all my life would tell me, oh, Jeannie, I feel you're so loving. Oh, you're so blah, 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 all these great things. And I'm smiling and thinking, yeah, of course I want to be. But inside, there was a little wounded girl, like a little wound that just didn't feel like she deserved it. She was worthy. This quest really was my spiritual path. This was the quest for the divine or for God. And all that outward searching, I was raised, maybe you have a similar story. I was raised in this religion that taught me as a young child that God, divinity, everything we aspired to, was outside. In fact, he was up there on a cloud, on a golden throne. He looked kind of like Zeus, white man with long beard. And he was going to smoke me down if I did not be a good little Catholic girl. Oh, I wasn't going to say Catholic, but I am recovering from the indoctrination of a broken kind of explanation. Not that all Catholics have that, but that's how I was taught. And that was another kind of wound in the heart. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy, was held up as a virtue. So I tried to be a good little girl and live my life well, and then I'd be worthy. Once again, outward journey, outward, looking outside for comfort. for solace, and really for approval. I wanted someone else to tell me that I was okay. I even felt that way when I met Sandra a couple years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, Sandra. My linear time isn't good. But I still had that little secret nugget that just wouldn't heal. I didn't know how to do it. And then one day, something extraordinary happened. But let me back up and tell you that in my search for the divine, around age 19, I left my home and I traveled to India. And I spent time, almost a year altogether, with a meditation master, a great saint, actually. And I lived there and studied because I wanted to learn meditation. It felt so right and so holy. And it turns out it was all about going inside, touching the heart. And her message was so simple. And this is what it was. Love yourself. Honor and respect yourself because divinity lies within. That was over 40 years ago. Yes, I'm over 60. And that has been my practice. But something amazing happened to me a couple years ago. I was sitting in my little meditation spot one Sunday afternoon. Sun was shining, and I was just, sinking in and feeling good. And then I began my prayers for the world because even to the day, I still have this longing for all of us across the world to be united and free and all have the same inalienable rights of being human, having water and food and medicine and love and warmth and all these things, right? And so I was making my prayer. I was getting ready to sink in. And I've never told anybody this story, but all of a sudden, it was as if I lifted up out of my body and was watching myself. I'm like going, oh, check you out. You're making such a nice prayer. And I saw myself. I saw this beam of energy of my intention going out and up. Oh yeah. I was praying out there and up there because you know who was up there. You know who was nowhere in here. Love and solution was outside. God was outside. I'm not saying, guys, that God is not outside. I'm saying that I was so suffering from being separate and not turning my love within that I saw that and I suddenly snapped like, hey, Kaboba. So I snapped and I was like, oh, that's what it means. I have to take my energy stream, my intention, my awareness, that feeling when you really want something and it's like maybe going out. I had to pull it back in and turn it around and bring it inside. That was no small feat. It was like relearning how to walk or something. And I want to share that with you because it was so profound and it started a shift in me. It was like I found a key for myself that I could turn my love around and start the journey actually going inside. It was amazing. Took me a long time. I'm still working on it, but it's about not going outside of myself to find my worth. Not only loving outside myself. Think of it as a river. I was standing next to this river of love, of my life, sending it all out to everybody. I never turned around and said, I receive. I had to learn how to receive. So when I did that, I started stepping into the circuit of the universal energy and love and life. I became more alive. All of a sudden, my wounds were healing and I was feeling so great and so much love. Every day, I wake up and laugh, play with the dog. And I thought, what better story could I have shared with all of you? And so I want to give you this little practice that I learned in India. There's a little practice. It's an ancient yogic practice, and it's called dharana. And it basically is a little visualization practice to help us turn within. It's just like a mini meditation, if you will. Excuse me. So Play with me if you would. Sit up, take a deep breath, and just let yourself be tall and graceful in your body. And if you feel safe to do so, close your eyes, or you can put them on the surface in front of you. Just soften your gaze and take one nice long breath and relaxing into it. I want you to imagine that in your hand, you're holding a favorite beverage. Anything you want. Maybe it's warm tea or coffee or sparkling cool water, whatever beverage, no judgment here. So see this beverage in your hand. Excuse me. And now imagine yourself bringing that beverage up to your lips and really focus. I want you to imagine the glass touching your lip, how it would feel. Your tongue is receiving this liquid and swallowing. And this sensation of this liquid is gently going right down your esophagus, right to your stomach. And stop. Come back now. So in this very, very simple idea, we practice going in our imaginations, right, from outward to inward. Let's try that one more time with a different image. So again, close your eyes or open your eyes and imagine that you are seeing the sunset. Far away, a long view of the beautiful sunset, whatever colors you love, just see that beautiful sunset. And you can experience that long distance view inside, how it opens up and stretches you out, right? The very long view. And now, I'm going to ask you to move your attention right inside and imagine a beautiful blue star right behind your eyes, maybe in the forehead area or in the middle of your top of your head. A beautiful, soft, blue, sparkling star. And if you like, go back and forth a couple of times. Go out and look at that sunset. And notice as you bring your attention back in to look at the star. And come on back together now. So these are just a couple of examples of practices to be able to kind of start to turn your attention, because you know what? I didn't even know I could turn my attention to something else, from outward to inward. Or, for example, another great example is when I was feeling horrible and the grip of unworthiness and doubt and fear and stuff would come. It would paralyze me at times. I'll be honest, I could stay there for weeks, depending. Outside circumstances were difficult at times in life, right? And it's very hard not to. But I learned that you can move your attention. And it's an energetic component. Yes, it's will, and yes, it's thinking about it. But there's that energetic component that you can do in the same way that you turn within and find your own self-love. I'm really big advocate for really tiny doable practice that you can do in the moment, like the deep breath. I'll teach a deep breath for 10 minutes. We all know how to take a deep breath. But when we come back and we give our full attention to a little practice, like turning within, it can be amazing, amazing results. So that's the story I wanted to share with you. Like I was saying, there was all kinds of reasons that I felt not loving toward myself. All kinds of circumstances. How I felt as a little girl when I was ashamed to have such a great life, knowing others didn't. Or when I didn't have that ability to love myself. There was all kinds of reasons. We all have wounds, right? We all go through lessons in life that can sometimes be very painful. I think, and just I won't go into it long, but another lesson was the loss of my mother, And my mother, at my age 16, committed suicide. So it was very difficult. And it just confirmed that if even my own mother couldn't stay for her daughter and her son, I must not really been worthy. So these external circumstances, these old stories that we have, they don't have to dominate us, and we can choose. And for me, the greatest power that I've ever encountered was turning within. That's what started my journey, honestly, to self-love. Not knowing about it, not all the practices I was trying to do, but actually learning that I could energetically stop and move my attention inside to the heart. So would you guys hit the chat box and tell me, I talked a long time at you. I don't usually do that. And I wanted to know, does this resonate with you a little bit? Does this remind you of your journey at all? Just let me know how you're resonating with this.
And feel free, ladies and gentlemen, the few gentlemen that are here, to open up if you want to say
Yes.
if
Yes,
anything.
please be
I'll
welcome.
say this, Jeannie. I think it literally, and I'm not sure if anybody else experienced this, but it was such a great reminder for me just now when you led us through that practice, really short practice, but how energetically I immediately felt different. Because of course coming in, there's all the, oh my gosh, gotta get ready and all that. So I didn't even realize how tense my energy was. And so it was just such a great reminder how literally with just a few breaths, you can completely change your state, completely change how you feel in a moment. So that was really such a beautiful reminder to me. And something else, just because I have the privilege of knowing you and is something I love about you that, and you kind of talked about it as you were speaking, is how oftentimes we think that there needs to be these complicated practices and things that we do and multiple steps, how self-love really is just about enjoying the little things, that it's literally just enjoying being with yourself. And it's one of the things that I love watching you, because one of the questions I asked when we were getting ready was, how's Gracie? And it's just seeing you and your interaction with Gracie, who's your beautiful dog, and how that seems to bring you so much joy, just little things. I remember this one time you were doing a live and you were just appreciating the leaves, and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody look at the leaves. And I'm like, okay, this woman done lost her mind, but okay. But it really is the little things that we think it's some big aha and realization, but it's the little things, right, Jeannie?
It's so beautifully said. Thank you for emphasizing that, because it's absolutely true. I was looking at the chat box, and there is really chasing things was a big theme in my life too. And to be able to receive, Alejandra, that was beautifully said, to receive the love that we so eagerly give. Yeah, thank you. And resonating with the guilt of abundance. I got to work on that, because I don't agree with that situation in this world. If I made this world in this particular person, I'd change things up. Did anybody else want to share while we're sharing? I'd be happy to hear. Thanks. We'll have another chance at the end of the program, right? So, gosh, I can't believe that a half hour has passed. Can you guys? Isn't it great? I want everybody to take just a little stretch break, because we're going to go into a nice long relaxation, about 20 minutes. So I invite you to lie on the floor. You can shut off your cameras. You can lie back. You can put your head down. You can sit. However you're comfortable. I really want you to take this for yourself, this gift of 20 minutes to go inside and just, if you fall asleep, no problem. If you just loving on yourself, great. So
Before we go, Rumi, did you have your hand up? Did you want to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure, I did. Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
I'm sorry you can't see my video. It's about 1 a.m. here. My lights are off. So, yeah,
Thank
but
you.
I'm just going to go ahead and ask this. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So we are talking about self love, and you have mentioned that some of the ways, I mean, it's one of the ways that we are able to get to a place where we can essentially love ourselves because we are, intentionally going within. But my question is it a process of meditations and step by step you you take those processes and then one day you will reach the goal of self-love, or it's meditations and then it is just then at one time you just come to one realization and then boom, self-love, now you know what it is. And that's really what I want to know. Is meditation the journey, or it's just going to be one day you're going to realize? I don't know. Yeah.
I love your question so much. If you would have asked me that question a couple years ago, I mean, I was sitting exactly in that question. My question was like, am I ever going to feel it? Like, if it's ever going to be fully true? And so I am just answering you as a fellow human being, seeker, someone seeking self love and realization, growth, all those things, this journey of life. So I can only speak from my experience. There was a time when I didn't think it was possible to really feel authentically, genuinely filled with self love. There was always a wound inside that I was always like, unworthy, unworthy. I can tell you that my practice included so much therapy, medications, traveling to India, deep meditation, chanting, spiritual practices, journaling, coaching, Sandra, like so much, so many practices. And of course, there's times when I was happy, but it always seemed to come back. Maybe I battled with, there is a chemical kind of situation, hormonal, that can cause those kind of feelings too. So I had to look at that and work extensively with my thyroid and my hormones and all. But I will tell you this, Ruru, I honestly feel 100% different than I did then. Doesn't mean I might not tank again. Is it a journey? I believe it's a journey. And I believe it's really important not to be in it alone and to reach out and get the tools that are called to you. I don't have the magic tool, but for me, after 40 years of sitting meditation and being even around great beings, that one thing happened about my energy going out and then realizing like, oh man, but it wasn't just because it was that. It was my intention, my seeking, my journey. It's like I found a drop of something that really resonated. So I would just say to you, continue all practices of self-love. And if anything inkles, is that a verb? If it inkles to you, if it calls you, try it and get yourself with people who love you and reflect your self-love. And that's my best answer, is to keep going and know that it is absolutely possible. And I could not have said that to you 2 years ago. I really believe it with all my heart. And it grows, and it's still growing. So, Sandra, do you want to add to that for Ruru?
I so agree with you, Jeannie. I think, is it Oscar Wilde who said that to love yourself is the love affair of a lifetime? And I feel like it's no different than, if you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friend, a child, that it's something you have to work at. I think that we've been led to believe that, oh, it's something that happens and there's just this one day where it's like, oh, I love myself, and then that's the end. I actually think that loving yourself and self-love is the journey of your lifetime. I think that that is the work of our lifetime, is to get ourselves to a place where we love ourselves, and that comes from intentionality. Like, there's no here's how you love yourself. I was sharing this with Team Worthy on our team meeting yesterday, and I said, and I love for you guys to test this out and tell me if I'm wrong. When you open up Google, the Google search bar, and you type in there, how do I learn to? Do you know what the number one search result is? How do I learn to love myself? Like, it just blows my mind, because that means there are that many people who are trying to figure out the answer to self-love. And I honestly, unless someone's going to tell me something different, believe that there's no here's the solution and here's the answer. I think it's about being intentional. I think that it's a practice, that it's, one of the things that I learned in becoming a meditation teacher, and I know, Jeannie, you would know this, is that, having gone to India, of course, is that's why it's called practice. That it's not like, okay, one and done, like I've learned how to do it, I'm good now. That every day is a practice and every day is a recommitment. And also the thing too about self-love is there's no one size fits all. What to you is self-love is going to be very different than what it is to me, is going to be very different than what it is to Johan, is going to be, we all express it differently. So it's finding for you, what is it that makes you feel fulfilled, feel valued, feel worthy, feel all of the things, and then committing to recommit to that every single day. So that was a long-winded answer to that. But I love what you said, Jeannie, that, it's the work of a lifetime. Jeannie, not that I'm calling you out. I mean, I'm 47 years old and I'm still figuring it out, right? Still,
Me
Jeannie,
too.
you're a little bit
Me
older than
too.
me.
I'm 60.
Still,
And Ruru, I just wanted to add to what Sandra said is that very feeling that you have of wanting to have that self-love is going to guide you to receiving that self-love. Keep going. Just keep going. And maybe stop trying so hard. I don't know if you're like me, but I tried so hard that it was always the giving and trying and doing. It's like receive. So let's all practice receiving together. Let's go into, oh, good. Let's go into a little guided meditation. And what I'm going to do,
sorry, Jeannie. Apparently,
yeah.
a lot of questions today. Ruby, do you have a question? I see your hands up.
Hi, Ruby.
Hello, guys. I just wanted to add to the question that was asked by Rumbi. My question is, how do you deal with the situation that you understand very well that you are not giving attention to yourself, giving attention to everybody else? You always promise yourself, to give all the attention, all the love, but you always feel guilty. I think it's based to what you've mentioned earlier. You always feel guilty that this other person needs more love than you do. So you always want to, yes, I know I'm not taking care of myself. I always promise myself to take care of myself, but I always have an excuse not to take care of myself. How do you deal with that?
I love that. I love your question. I love your energy. It's like, it's so true. And as women and the generations before us really learned to take care of others first, didn't learn how to take care of. And one way that I have started doing that is I made a commitment and a habit and a practice of going inside. And going inside, it doesn't have to be this arduous thing and sitting in meditation and doing this. I want to give you guys this experience. This one's a little longer because I really loved y'all and I just been thinking of this group for so long. And so you can push a button on an audio, or you can put on some music, or you can do anything you decide to do if you just allow yourself to do it. And I know Sandra can weigh in really well because this is a big deal, building a habit of practicing to take care. It can start with one tiny thing. What's one tiny thing you want, Ruby? Start with that one thing. Make yourself a commitment that before you sleep that day, I'm going to do it. And for me, that's why I liked meditation or a guided audio or guided self-hypnosis because I don't have to do anything. I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to do anything. I just push a button or I just close my eyes. Listen, I practiced for years just right before I slipped into my covers on my bed pillow. I'd be like, okay, I don't have a lot of time. I didn't do it. I'm going to do it for 30 seconds. I'm just going to breathe in and tell myself I love myself. And then, so the practice is up to you. And you're in the perfect group because you have maybe one of the greatest coaches in the world who knows how to help you to develop a habit. And I know that you can do it. Just you have to tell that part that says, oh no, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't. You just have to listen really. Can I cuss on this platform? F you! You just have to say, no, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have that cup of tea. I'm going to sit for 2 minutes. I'm going to go for a walk. Whatever it is to love yourself, you just do it. Do it, girl. Do it. And it's not as easy to do as say, but I know you can. Sandra.
Ruby, I think that this is something, and if you think this, I teach this stuff, right? And I still struggle. And from a practical perspective, something that my coach said to me this year, because I think I shared with the group last time that my word for this year is courage, right? And so I was telling my mentor, I was like, well, my word is courage. And she said to me, okay, yes, let's stick with courage. But I also want you to add another word for this year, and that is receive. And it was because we were talking about the fact how, as you said, as women, and for me in what I do, I'm giving. I spend so much time giving that at the end of the day, it's hard. And sometimes I so hear you, I feel guilty. I feel like, oh my gosh, I could be doing something more constructive. Shouldn't I be cleaning the house? Shouldn't I be doing all of this? And so what she made me do, and it actually just arrived yesterday, so I'll show it to you. What my coach made me do is she said, I want you to have a box, a container, something. And at the end of every day, every single day, this is a habit that you have to establish. You need to put in this box. I bought myself this because I like cute boxes. She said, every day, at the end of every day, so it's a little box that has a lid. At the end of every day, I have to put a piece of paper in here that says, what is one thing, minimum one thing that I allowed myself to receive in that day? So at the end of every day, I should have an entry in here that is my receiving box. And this is just the physical reminder of receiving, because it is so easy for us to go through our days and we're giving. But you can't give when you're empty. And we forget to refill ourselves. And then we get to a point where, like in my case, I was burnt out. I had adrenal fatigue. I was exhausted. And then we also start to get resentful. Right? That's the thing that then we're like, like I have to do this for my kids and I have to do this. And we don't want to say it because, wow, that'll make you a bad person if you say you're resentful about all the things that you have to do for your family. But it starts to eat away inside. So I think that for me, in a small way, Ruby, that's something that, I wanted to share with you is every day, what can you allow yourself to receive? And it doesn't have to be from somebody else. Great if it's from somebody else. But even for yourself to give to you, can you give yourself the permission to have a proper lunch break? Can you give yourself the permission at the end of the day to soak in the tub and just enjoy some alone time? Can you give yourself a simple 5 minutes to just sit with your cup of tea or whatever it is and just relax? Because we're always go. So I want to make that your challenge too, Ruby. Just as I was challenged, I'm challenging you for you to get at the end of every day, be able to say, what's the one thing I allowed myself to receive today?
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Sandra. And Ruby, it makes me think that what does it cost us when we don't honor ourselves and do what we need? Well, I know Sandra said it was costing resentment. Also, I know that if I model what I want my children to do, I'm not going to do that, give myself away 100%. I'm going to realize that I want to share a well-being and model it for myself as well. And it is a practice. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that question. Sandra, how long do we have today? So I just want to adjust our minutes and make sure everyone has a chance to share.
I want to just make sure that everybody who wants, Natalie, do you mind opening up? I always put you on the spot. I have a habit of
Hi,
putting Natalie on the
Natalie.
spot. But you just wrote something so beautiful. You and Alex wrote such beautiful things. Do you want to share what your experience was and how did you turn it around for yourself, Natalie?
I guess I didn't even realize that I had an issue. It's like so many. I was in a conference once and for a women's conference that I was selected to at work like a few years ago. And they asked everybody, what are your first impressions when you came in here? And my first impression is, why am I here with all these other women? Like, I didn't feel like I belonged there. And when I told the other woman, my partner, she was just like flabbergasted, because it was like 40 women from our whole corporation that had been chosen. And I was like, and that's when it hit me like, wow. And I realized that like everything that went on my mind, like my whole life was just negative, constant. And so I kind of went on this whole, inward journey of, I think the first step I need to do is think about the good things, right? Because it was just constantly like never good enough, all the things. And I shed a ton of layers, and that's like a whole further down the journey. But I think the first thing that I started doing was really just telling myself, look what I did today, instead of why didn't I say that right? Look what, I would get out of a meeting. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't say that, or I said the wrong thing. And I would just dwell on it. And I would just stop myself. I would get there and I would say, stop it. Look at what you've done. Look at the things you're doing. And it was just a habit, I guess, in my mind. And I didn't even realize that that chatter in my head went away until maybe a year later. It was just like people talk about negative self-talk. And I'm like, I don't even have that anymore. But I would just create this habit of stopping it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, and then think about positive things. And then I started a practice of gratitude. And I think that also helped me kind of take, in of like everything that is in my life. And then that created like a whole gratitude practice. But I think there's so many different ways, but those things were just very basic ways to kind of start my journey on self-love. And then there's like, again, all the other shedding of the backstories, but those were like kind of the beginning steps for me. So that's all.
Beautiful.
That's so beautiful. Thank you.
That was
Does anyone else? I know Gina's like, we're supposed to be doing the meditation. And
No, I'm going with the flow because I still have a gift for them. So they don't have to do it now.
I love that. Does anyone else have, Kitty, you have your hand raised. Go.
Okay. I got shy all of a sudden. Okay. Anyway, about the self-love thing that you were saying, Jeannie, I think one of the things that has been instilled with us women, especially women who have partners, is that your worth is based on how your partner views you and like your role. So like it's like putting so much pressure on you. Like, I'm only a good person because I'm a good mom, I'm a good wife, I'm a good this, I'm a good that.
Your
But
identity.
like, really, if you think about it, like in your core is good by default. Your self-worth is like solid and perfect by default. That's incontestable. It's just that you were taking on so much of the social biases, so much of the outside stuff, you're dragging that in when all along you were whole, you were complete. And, I've struggled with a lot of self-worth issues before, but like 2021 was the breakthrough because of the worthy community, surprisingly. But like, I've seen the change with how I communicate with my husband, who's Johan, by the way, and how I communicate with my kids. And there's just so much more room for abundance and love if you start with yourself first. Because you are the waterfall, you are the gift. You are the gift that keeps on giving. So you start with yourself before you give yourself to others. Gift yourself to you.
That is the most beautiful and eloquent sharing, Dallas. Thank you so much, because it's so true. We get wrapped up into believing we're good because, or that we're worthy because of this and that and this and that, and you nailed it. Nope, it's the innate state. We have that. So it's such a joy. You're not carried away. That was so wonderful. You
Sure.
guys are the most amazing people. I love this group.
It truly is an amazing group. Joyce, did you have your hand raised? Do you want to share something?
Yes, hello, beautiful people. Sorry, I can't put the video on. I'm in the dark, but I'm following.
Is this an intentional dark, or is this your power company dark?
No, load shedding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good to hear you.
What I wanted to share is when you spoke about self-love. I remember sometime last year on one of the sessions you mentioned self-love, and I just wanted to share how it has worked for me. And so what I did is, I love flowers. I love fresh flowers, but I've always waited for somebody to give me flowers, and it has never happened. Like, it was never going to happen. So I made a conscious decision that the way I want to be loved, like if I'm representing it physically, I want to be receiving flowers. So I made a conscious decision that I'm going to buy myself flowers. I'm not going to wait for somebody to do it, because it might never happen. So I need to love myself to get myself what I want. So every week I buy myself fresh flowers, and it's first on the list before even the food, because I said I've always prioritized other people, all other things, but I never had anything that I want. So now I put myself first. Joyce, you want flowers? Let's get flowers. They might look like they are not important or essential, but it's the way they make me feel when I'm surrounded by flowers. I am happy. And I've discovered when I have flowers, because I am happy, I think better. I then also relate with people better. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the self-love. And I am learning to also speak to myself and see myself well. One of the things, when people used to give compliments, I would look for an excuse about the compliment. You know, if somebody says, "Oh, that's a lovely dress you're wearing," you know, I would say things like, "Oh, this old thing. Oh, it's a cheap thing," you know. But now I don't do that. If somebody says something, I take it. And I've learned to love myself, that I'm surrounded by goodness and love. So whatever comes to me, that's good. That is me. I put myself first. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. I
Beautiful.
love that. So beautiful. Jeannie, did you want to add anything to that?
I was thinking of Ruby when you were talking, Joyce. I was like, the flowers. What a great idea. And I agree 100%. Find that thing that's flowers for you, all of us. Like, I'm going to totally go out and do that after the call. I'm going to go find my thing, because this is, I love that. Thank you so much. You all have amazing sharing. This group is incredible. Sandra, how long is our call? Do we end at the hour, or?
Well, people are always free to drop, because I know people have other commitments and things to do, but it often depends on how long is Sandra talking for. So sometimes we go really long.
We love it. And I love hearing
If
from
anyone
everyone.
has to drop, feel free. But Jeannie, I know you
I see.
prepared something for us, so I'd love for you to do that. Does anyone have any last questions before we hand off to Jeannie? Ruby, is that your hand still up? Was it from the last time? Did you want to say something, Ruby?
Yeah, no, it's the new one.
Oh, it's a new one. Okay, go
It's
ahead.
the new one, yes. I think what Joyce has just said reminds me, I joined late because I'm coming from a very breakthrough meeting. that I started working on it in 2019. It has not been coming. And now here I am in this full boardroom with all these professors. I presented this and there was a buy-in. And the people that I was with at the end of the meeting, they're saying, well done, Ruby. And I'm saying, no, it's well done, the team. So I want to associate myself with Joyce. You know, you always, you don't want to own the gift, you know. Now she's making me to think exactly about what happened today when I did not want to receive what my team was giving to me, knowing exactly that I presented and everybody bought into the idea. And at the end of the day, my team says, well done, Ruby. And I'm the first, I'm very quick to stop them without even finishing it to say, no, well done to the team. Thank you, Joyce. I'm taking note of that.
Taking it in.
And you know something, Ruby, because I have a hard time accepting compliments, like that's, again, something I'm working on and very much related to self-worth and self-love, because something that I'm learning is receiving is self-love. But one of the things that I'd never thought about, the perspective that I was given by a coach of mine, was the fact that when someone pays you a compliment and then you deflect it or you turn it away, you're taking away from them, because for them that was their gift to you. You know, to say, you know, whatever, you did a great job, whatever, that's their gifting to you. And what you're doing is slapping that gift and saying, I don't want your gift. So it's another way to think about it, that you took away from them being able to give to you. So
I'm gonna cry.
So yes, Ruby, own it.
And I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I cried in that meeting. I'm not gonna cry here.
Ruby, I was actually thinking about you the other day. You know when Kitty posted in the Facebook group the poem, I don't know if you saw it, the one about I hope you, and I saw that and I was like, I don't know whether I said, Kitty, I think we should post this, because I was thinking of you. But I was like, I don't know, because every single time I say anything to Ruby, I make her cry. So now I'm scared.
That's because her heart is leaking. Her heart is so big, it's squeezing and it's just coming out. You
Jeannie,
guys,
I'm gonna hand over to you,
Yeah.
because I know you had a gift for us, so let me hand over to
yeah,
you.
sure. Yes. And you know, I'm so happy to be here. Like, you guys have uplifted me so much. Like, this is an amazing group. I mean, I'm crying inside, you know, I am. I just, so I'm going to switch up. I was going to lead us on a live kind of meditation, but let me give you your gift, because then you get to do that anytime you want. So as I told you, my new passion, my project is coming out. It's called Golden Life Audio Journeys. Golden Life Healing Audios. I'm so excited. I've been working all year on them. I have a whole library filled, and I made one especially in honor of Sandra and in honor of her worthy membership, because this is like probably the biggest thing of my life, is to learn to become worthy, to learn to self-love, to open up to the divinity of all of us connected, right? Like, this is it. So my gift for you guys is a guided audio download that I'm going to put the link in here. And then Sandra, I've emailed you. I can do it again. You guys can have it. What it is, it's called Worthy. And it has my friends, the humpback whales, and it's got ocean waves, and it's got this beautiful music with high frequency. And it is an audio that you can download and save and listen to again and again, just for self-love, and maybe as you go to sleep, anytime. And it's absolutely my gift to you. There is a password, and guess what it is? Worthy. So if you have any trouble downloading on a phone, go to the computer and download it there. We had a little glitch this week, and it's absolutely free. If you have any trouble at all, send me an email, make sure you get it. And
And we'll make sure as well to
Okay,
share
put
it
it
in
in
the
the link.
membership. Yeah, Kitty will put it where with the replay for this week so that you all
Good.
have it.
And for everybody in the membership. And these are going to go, my market designer told me we're launching at $47 an audio. I'm like, wow, okay. So get it while it's free. And I would just love it. And it will take you to my email opt-in, but you can always opt out. You don't have to stay there.
Can
But
we pause for a second on that,
yes,
Jeannie?
go
Can we
ahead.
just pause? Okay, because I'm just gonna coach you. I'm just gonna
Oh
coach
no.
you because you're my friend. Okay, so you gifted, I remember you gifted me an audio and then you sent me that and you said, oh, but you can opt out. No, don't tell people that they can opt
See, I'm always learning. Thank you, Sandra. I love
out.
you so much.
Because
Okay, I
first of
take it
all,
back. Join my email.
join her email list because she's amazing and she sends out amazing things. And
And I
I will
will.
tell you, because I did listen to this audio, as someone, the meditation itself is, oh my gosh, like it literally took me on a journey. But from a technical perspective, and this is probably something that Johan will appreciate, is I asked Jeannie, I remember I sent you, I was like, how long did it take you to put this together? Because there's so many different elements. It literally takes you on a journey. It is so beautiful. I know you poured so much heart. I felt the heart in it. And so I'm excited for all of you to experience this audio
Thank you.
because it truly is such a beautiful,
It's
such
a
a beautiful
culmination.
gift.
Thank you. It's a culmination of my whole life journey of love, of meditation, caring, giving to others. The musician, that I'm a musician as well, and the healing. I've also imbued these with a sacred, prayerful healing energy. So they're going to be so helpful for people. And I'm so delighted and honored to give it to you. Yeah. Before we go, I know you're going to sign off in a minute, but I would like to end by reading you these amazing quotes that I found. Would that be okay? Yeah. Okay. So I just invite you to please close your eyes and I want you to take this in. This is for all of you. I'm just going to turn this music on for just a moment. And bring your hands up over your heart, please. And just like a little self hug, just want you to close your eyes and rest and take in these beautiful ideas from these great, wonderful beings around the world. I'll read them to you. A modern-day poet and writer from New Delhi named Avijit Das tells us, "Do not be scared to say, 'I love you' to yourself. Stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself and say as loudly as you can, 'I love you. I respect you for what you have faced in life. I love you for what you have become.'" The German novelist Thomas Mann, a Nobel laureate, says, "There's only one real misfortune in life: to forfeit one's own good opinion of oneself." And from the great statesman and peacemaker Mahatma Gandhi, "They cannot take away our self-respect if we do not give it to them." An African-American poet and artist, Abirchani, tells us so beautifully, "Dare to love yourself as if you were a rainbow with gold at both ends." And finally, the great saint from India, Sri Bhagavan Nityananda, says, "The heart is the hub of all sacred places. Go there and roam." So allow yourself to take a deep breath in and feel that. I love myself. Feel it. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart and just rub them. a little, yeah, yeah. And you're here. You're doing it. We're on this journey together, and we're all doing it. And we'll just keep growing and growing and more and more. I'm so honored to be here with you all today. Thank you for including me in your world, Sandra, and in all of your days. Thank you so much. And remember, I really believe as we love ourselves, we do love the world. That ripple effect goes out. And every action, every little tea and flower and time and all those things that we do to care for ourselves, they bless the whole world. So thank you and namaste.
Namaste, my friend. Thank you for the gift of your time. Thank you for being here, for sharing all that you are. And as a friend, I thank you for, as you said at one point, you mentioned how you've watched Worthy be born, and you were a part of the inspiration to birth Worthy. And you've watched me, you've sent me voice notes, you've messaged me, you've cheered me on all of the way. And so I am so grateful to have you here, so grateful to have you as a friend. And I want to invite you back. Like we're definitely would love to have you back, because I know that today we just kind of touched the surface.
That's so great.
Other things that you teach, and I've been in your classes before, and I'd love to have you back and just thank you. Thank you so much.
There are so many things I would love to share with you. Self-healing practices. And oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you, I have a free complimentary 30-minute consultation call for anybody. If anyone wants to talk about healing or any of that I could help you with, just let me know. Golden Life Healing. You can find me there.
And we'll put all your contact information. Kitty will share all the contact information.
Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, everyone. What a joy to meet you all. I feel so loved. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
You are so loved. Does anyone have anything they want to share before we all part? Because this is always the hardest part. The goodbye is always so hard. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. Thank you, Jeannie, again for joining me. I so appreciate you. And I always tell you and always remind you any opportunity that I have that you are worthy. You are worthy just by virtue of you being. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to have any qualifications, or you are worthy just because you are. And you are worthy to be, to do, to have whatever your heart desires. I love you all so much. And I will see you again soon. Mwah.
Bye, everyone.